Hi there folks, my name is Wing24 and welcome to the first interview from Flight Sim Expo 2024. Now I know this looks a little odd because this is my home studio, my home office, but I wanted to take a moment before we started the interview with Moza Racing to go through a couple of things about this interview. So this interview was great, it really was. However, there were some challenges with this interview, which boils down to a distinct language barrier. I have a policy where I don't edit videos. I don't edit interviews very much. I think that you as the community deserve to see it pretty much, as it is, because you deserve to hear all the answers and all the goings on that happened during an interview. I've chosen to do things a little differently for this interview here. There are some fairly significant edits in here, and that boils down to something as simple as the language barrier. There was a case of, I would ask a question, which also, given the fact that I'm Australian and I talk stupidly fast, was a challenge in of itself. Beyond that, they then had to, punch my, enter my question into Google Translate. They then had to translate that back to Chinese. Then they would have to come up with their response. They would put that into Google Translate to translate it to English, and then read that to me. So it meant the interview was incredibly clunky. So I sort of basically made a decision that I'm going to edit out a lot of that stuff, so you will still get the answers as Moza Racing gave me, and which is important information I think you should know. But I wanted to sort of preface this interview by saying that to you at the start, so you're not wondering why is there all this edited, what got taken out and that kind of stuff. There's no conspiracy theory, it's just what it is. But what I do want to do at the end of this video, though, at the end of the interview, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about my experience with the hardware, because the team over at Moza Racing have announced when the hardware is going to be available, and also the pricing, which is pretty important as well. So without any further ado, on to the interview with Moza Racing. Hi there folks, my name is Wing24 and welcome to Flight Sim Expo 2024, when we're here with an interview here with a newcomer to the flight simulation hardware space. We are here with Moza Racing. Now, I know many of you saw the announcement and were wondering who exactly is Moza Racing, and that is what we are here with Aaron here today to find out. Who are Moza Racing and what are they bringing to us here in the flight simulation community? So, Aaron, welcome to the interview today. So, Aaron, I want to start by asking, as I was saying off camera earlier today, the flight simulation community, we don't know who Moza Racing are. So, who is Moza Racing and what is some of your background?
Okay. We are the. Sorry, I'm so diverse. I see. Wait a minute. Okay. We are founded in 2020 by a team of automotive engineers, simulation drivers and sim pilots. We have long been at the forefront for automotive and simulator technology. We used to specialize in intelligent image, and now we are specialized in simulator control, like racing control. Now we are focused on flight control.
Okay. So I know that from doing some research and speaking to members of our extended simulation family, especially the iRacing community, that you are very well known for your vehicle racing and motor racing products. So you're leveraging that experience and bringing it now to flight simulation?
Okay. After 3 years, building experience with racing simulators, Moza has already handled its control over motors and software. Okay, so we are excited to venture into some interesting and challenging areas. It's so hard.
I was going to say, so it's interesting because that's a great question, segue to my next question. You're saying that it's a lot harder, using flight simulation than racing simulation. So why did you choose to make this move to flight simulation hardware from your very successful work with vehicle simulation? Was it because of the challenge?
Our fans like racing simulator and flight simulator, and they both have these products.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think in the world of simulators, you can really spirit entertainment entertainment for realistic training.
Right. Okay. So you're aiming for that, for like realism and sort of that realistic feel of your hardware for you to be able to use, not just for home users, but for those wanting to get a professional experience as well.
Most people start have fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you're showcasing here at the expo. I understand that you sort of revealed a little bit in your social media posts. So what hardware is Moza bringing to the flight simulation community? What have you brought here today, and what can you tell us about it?
This is our base. This is our base. It has two motors to give force feedback.
So sorry to interrupt you there, but force feedback is something that the flight sim community has been looking for a long time.
Yeah.
So your base stick will include force feedback capability?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And it can give just what I say. Can I say? Okay. The older producers they isn't have force feedback, so we give more better user experience for gamer.
Okay. So that's the flight stick. So the flight stick base includes the force feedback. Okay. What other products do you have with us to show us today?
And this is our rudder.
So a set of rudder pedals?
Yes, this simulation products, including brake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Base and throttle and panel.
So I'd seen the panels at the front.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. So with your base, because I understand with your racing equipment, the base and the actual wheel are separate, and you're continuing the same with your flight simulation hardware. So the base and the stick are separate products.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we've got, so you said before as well, we've got our HOTAS set up.
Dual.
So you've got dual throttles and you've got an additional panel.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Fantastic. So these products, they look really like high quality, like great detail has been paid to these. So when will these be available to the community?
August.
So we're aiming just targeting August release?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And is what we're looking at here today the production version, or is this you're still gathering information to improve before you release?
Get innovation.
Yeah, so you're still, because I noticed you earlier sort of speaking with many of our members of our community and actually gathering feedback. So that's great to hear that you're still taking that on board, intending to implement it. So that's great. All right, well, look, thank you very much, Erin, for enlightening our audience about who Moza Racing is, and welcome to the flight simulation community. And we look forward to seeing your products in use in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thanks very much, folks. Thanks for sticking in for our interview here with Moza Racing. Don't forget to look out for them on social media. Links will be in the description down below, and we'll get you set up with their hardware. Thanks very much, folks. Take care. Stay skies to all. We'll see you at the next interview. All right, folks. So that was the interview with Moza Racing, and it was really enlightening for me to be able to listen to the engineers there and actually have a talk to them and go through and hear their responses to the questions that you have. As I said, it was a little clunky, but we got through to the end there, and and we got to hear about, why they are moving into the flight simulation space. But I wanted to cover off my experiences with the hardware, and quite frankly, the experience with the hardware was fantastic. The actual quality of the hardware, given the fact that this was not a production build, like this is what we experienced at Flight Sim Expo, was not a production model. It was very clearly a pre-production model that we had experienced there at Flight Sim Expo in Las Vegas. But even though being a pre-production model, the quality was really, really solid. Like it felt like really good hardware. I could feel the force feedback coming through. Excuse me. Probably the only thing that I had with it was the implementation of the force feedback. And I'm not going to say, so the actual motors you could actually feel giving me the feedback during various stages of flight. I could definitely feel it. Where it was being applied was the issue, and I think that's more of a software issue rather than a hardware issue, as well as their choice of War Thunder as the platform to demonstrate their hardware with. I think they would have been better off going with either DCS or Microsoft Flight Simulator. However, they chose to go with War Thunder, their choice. But at the end of the day, given that they are fairly new, they literally this is their first set of flight simulation products, and the popularity of War Thunder as a online MMO, I kind of get why they went with it, particularly as it's a free-to-play title. So I absolutely understand their logic behind getting it. I think that given the audience of Flight Sim Expo, I think they probably could have done better with that. Having said that, though, as I said, the actual quality of the hardware was great. It felt solid. It felt good in my hands. The movement that I got, when I was using the rudder pedals, when I was using the stick, when I was using the throttle, was very, very fluid, very easy to maneuver, and as I said, just felt solid in my hands. So, and I use a Thrustmaster Hotez Warthog at the moment, and I could very easily see myself switching to Moza Racing hardware. Now, of course, shortly after the end of the expo, they did announce their pricing for this one, which is now available for pre-order as well. So they're pre-ordering the force feedback base unit is going to be available for $549 US. The actual flight stick will be $169 US, and then they have an option for a Z-axis extension for the flight stick for $80 US. Now, the hardware that we got to explore at the expo was more than just that. So I didn't get to experience the Z-axis module there. I got the flight stick and the FFB base. But I also had access to, everyone who tried the hardware had access to the split throttle, as well as the force feedback rudder pedals, which impressed me possibly the most, actually having force feedback rudder pedals. Being a real pilot myself, that's one of the places that that you actually feel feedback from the aircraft is it's not just in the stick, it's also in the rudder pedals. So having the feedback there was pretty awesome. So the pricing for this one is not bad. It's definitely on the it's definitely not top end pricing, but the quality is as I say, even though it was a pre-production model, I think the quality, if they can exceed what we saw at Flight Sim Expo, this pricing is going to be pretty damn good. Now, we haven't revealed pricing or release timeframes for the rudder pedals or the HOTAS system, or the split throttle system. But having the stick here, we get an idea of what their pricing is going to be going for. And I think they're going to be going for a sort of low end of mid-tier pricing is I think what they're going for, which tracks with their previous experience with racing hardware for ground racing. The other thing that I wanted to touch on as well, in my experience with observing the team at Moza Racing during the Flight Sim Expo, was the fact that they were there to collect feedback. Like, as I said before, like this was very clearly a pre-production setup. This was, this is not the finalized hardware we're going to get. It's very close, but it's not the finalized hardware. They wanted to collect feedback. And the thing that I think was most obvious about that was that anytime anybody came down to sit and try their hardware, they had two setups going the whole time. It doesn't matter who you were. If you sat down and gave their hardware a try, then there would be one of their engineers sitting next to you with a pen and paper and writing down, asking you questions and writing down your feedback in real time. You don't see that I've never seen that anywhere at any kind of trade show for any kind of any kind of hardware. I've actually seen, you know, collecting a broader range of feedback. And when I asked Erin and the team about that, they said, well, we are the experts. You know, we are the community that are going to be using this hardware a lot. Many of us have been using similar hardware for a very long time. Many of us also have, you know, real world flying experience. So they really wanted to spend time with the community to gather that information. And I think that from an attitude point of view, even beyond the hardware, having that sort of attitude to go, we want to go out and get that information to give the best possible product, that's a huge plus for me, for them as a brand. So as I said, apologies for the interview being a little bit clunky. As I said, that was a language barrier thing, but overall my impressions of Moza Racing and their introduction to of themselves into the flight simulation market has been a very, very positive experience, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing their hardware once it becomes available. So there you go. That's it. That rounds out this interview. Thanks very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by following me on Facebook and Twitter and on Twitch. Stay tuned for the next interview. All right. Catch you later, folks. Bye for now.